Hello everyone, this is PKL Entertainment and we are back again. And this time we're going to talk about Walking Dead Season 10, which returned to our screens just last week, the second half of the 10th season. And overall, this was a very good episode. There was plenty of moments of tension, of action. We picked up the events from the previous half of the season, which found our heroes trapped in a cave. A trap set up by Alpha. We had that sequence where she ran out onto the field and Carol saw her, and of course Carol was all vengeful about what happened with Henry, went chasing her, and of course the group followed Carol and they found themselves falling down into this cave, which had the horde of the Whisperers that Alpha was controlling. So that's where we picked up last season. So we pick up straight away going back into that scenario. And yeah, it's very tense. It's got that claustrophobic feel about it. We see our heroes in multiple scenes where they're having to squeeze, as per the title of this episode, squeeze through tight little caverns and try and get past lots of Whisperers grabbing at their feet. There's that great sequence where they're kind of trapped and they have to jump from one kind of stone to the next stone, and Daryl starts to jump first and then Carol jumps after, and then other characters are jumping through. And yeah, there were plenty of moments where you felt somebody's going to get caught. You know, we've had this many times in previous episodes, previous seasons, where there's already someone, that one person that doesn't make it through, ends up dying, doesn't make it past the dangers that are presented. And there are various times when I really thought Jerry wasn't going to make it. They made this remark about the fact that, yeah, he's this big 6'2" guy, and if you look in comparison, everybody else is a lot more slimmer than Jerry, a lot more smaller, making it more adept for them to squeeze through these little caverns and holes that they had to do so. And there were multiple times when Jerry was trapped. There was that sequence where Daryl went through the tavern and they're putting everybody else up and they're trying to pull Jerry through and he's stuck, and they're kind of tearing away at his shoe, and you kind of felt, oh no, he's going to get bitten here, or maybe he might have to, I don't know, pull his foot off or something, or dislocate his ankle or something to pull through. But he got through in the end. They checked through that he wasn't bitten, and they like to do that at the show. They like to play with certain characters that are popular or well liked, but they're not at the forefront. So Jerry, because he's this more upbeat, optimistic character, like Ezekiel used to be previously, so fans like him a lot, but he hasn't had that standout episode where he's had to lead the charge or he's had to be the decisive person in any kind of battle. So he's always been on the periphery in terms of the main cast, but he's still well liked. So he's one of those where if you think they're going to kill someone off that will carry some sort of reaction from the fans, Jerry would be it. That's why I kept thinking that he might die this episode. We had also Connie's friend, apologies, I can't remember his name, the kid with the dreadlocks. He was another person I thought might go. There was that time when he jumped from one kind of platform to the next and he was falling over, and I thought he was going to get pulled down, but he didn't. And there were two characters for me that were really kind of frustrating to watch. We had Carol, who, carrying on from the previous themes of the first half of the season, as I said, was very unhinged. This is typical Carol. She gets settled, integrated. I mentioned this in my preview. Settled, integrated, and then something happens. The group suffers a loss, and then she goes on one-man woman army Carol, loner Carol, just completely crazy, does stupid things, walks off on her own. And what's annoying about that is that multiple times she puts other people in danger. She's not the only character. You know, Rick's done this before and Daryl's done this before in the past. You know, when characters do stupid things and it endangers the other members of the group. This is something the writers are always criticised of. You know, they have characters do stupid things just to generate tension. So we have this where Carol has a previous heart-to-heart with Daryl. Daryl basically says to her, look, you can't keep doing this. You know, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to bring you back. But, you know, you're making it difficult for me. You know, you're not telling me everything. You can't do this. You're putting other people's lives at risk. Which is very true. And again, this is a further evolution if you like, of Daryl's character, because now that Rick's gone, Daryl has to be the more kind of responsible leader, because he himself was very much that loner character going off and doing his own thing, but now he has to have a much more of a responsible outtake of things and realise that, you know, they are a team. That he says something to Carol, you know, that you have to fight as one or be as one, something along those lines. And Carol says, yeah, I agree with you, I know I've got to change, right? So we have it before where they find this previous stash of dynamite, and Jerry very carefully tells the kid with the dreadlocks to just don't trigger it, don't do anything to trigger the dynamite. And then we find out later, after her heart-to-heart with Daryl, that Carol takes the dynamite and then she wants to go on some sort of suicide mission to try and blow up the Horde, right? This forces Daryl to go back to her, which holds up the whole entire group. So again, you're just so frustrated, and you could see Daryl's disapproval of Carol's face. Actions rather than her face, right? Actions rather. And again, it's just stupidity. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to get out of this scenario, but you want to take this dynamite and go back and blow up the Horde. What do you think you're going to do? You really think that dynamite's going to be enough to take out that whole group of Hordes? You know, it's just crazy. And, you know, another character who was just as bad was, is it Manga or Magma? Sorry, I'm getting her name wrong here, but she was another one who just kept walking off on her own, and she had less cause than Carol. We know that ever since she's been introduced, she's always been this free spirit, this kind of rebel. She does her own thing, doesn't really take to orders very well, doesn't stick to the plan very well. But time and time again, she kept walking off and trying to kill other zombies. Like, why? Like, you're trying to get out of this scenario, but you kept walking off and trying to put yourself more in danger. And of course, people are going to go back and try and save you. Therefore, you're endangering the group. And this resulted in the kind of climax of the episode where they found the way out. They were using the kind of I think the torches, or to just see where the wind was blowing, so they could see where the exit point was. And that was a great moment of tension again, where you had sort of Jerry lifting up the barge because he's the bigger dude, so everybody could climb on board and get out. And again, this was another one of those moments where I thought Jerry might be a goner. I thought he might get caved in, but he comes out and then everybody's escaping, and for some reason Magma or Manga, I'm sorry, the name's escaping me, she decides to go back and start killing more like zombies, when you're like, just get out. Just get out. Just get out the kind of cave and live to fight another day. But she goes back and tries to fight everyone, and then Connie goes back to try and help her. And this was, sorry, timeline. This had already set Connie back because Connie knew that Daryl had gone back to rescue Carol. And as we know, Connie and Daryl, they've got this thing going on. Even though it's not official, we know they're going to get together at some point. So she went back for Daryl. And then that held everything up. And then Magma again comes back and tries to fight more walkers instead of trying to get out. It's just, again, it's just those stupid moments. Character doing stupid things. And it frustrates you as a viewer because it's really just bad writing. When you've got moments of danger, moments of peril, you'd think by now 10 seasons, you know, they'd be used to survival instincts would kick in and they just exit scenarios as quickly as possible, right? But no, they're just walking into danger constantly. And again, it's just to add tension and jeopardy. I understand that. But when you've got characters doing stupid things, this has been an ongoing thing from Walking Dead. This is part of the reason why it got a lot of criticism, particularly in those seasons 7 and 8. You know, you just had characters just doing idiotic things. We had the other development. Sorry, also to build on the end result of that. So Connie and Magma got trapped when in the cave-in. Now, 9 times out of 10, they're not dead because when a character dies, you show them dying. So I'm pretty sure they'll show up later at some point. Maybe they may get captured. They may build that up as a tense part later on in the season when, if we have some sort of face-off again against the Whisperers, we'll see them bring out Connie and bring out Magma, and they'll try and use those two as some sort of bargaining chip, maybe to bring back Lydia or to gain some further territory we'll see later on in the season. So Daryl, again, he's gone off on his loner mode now. Maybe they find him. So, you know, typical Daryl. And then, again, he disapproves of Carol. So we'll see the fallout from that as they go back. The other standing out scene was crazy, was Negan and Alpha. And yeah, as I said in my preview, Jeffrey Dean Morgan again, he's just brilliant to watch. The bucket loads of screen charisma. We have this really weird scene where Alpha is just, you know, going to toilet, and Negan walks up behind her, watching her, and, you know, dumping some sort of horse manure for hygienic reasons or whatever. Negan's watching her, and then Negan tells her how he sussed out that Gamma is the spy, if you like. We know from the previous half of this season that Gamma has built this sort of connection with Aaron because they were meeting up previously. Gamma, her initial role was to gain information, but she's bonded more with Aaron and she's told him more information, and they knew basically where the Horde was or about the Horde. So Alpha wanted to know why, and then Negan kind of tells her that having been previous experience as a leader, you know, and trying to suss out, you know, who's working behind your back, basically. You think everybody loves you, but then you find out don't, and there's people working against you. So he sussed out that Gamma was it, and then Alpha got angry. She told Beta, who's now going to go on patrol, and Beta, of course, being Beta, wants to kill her, but Alpha says no, bring her back. We had this really funny scene when after telling Alpha, after Negan telling Alpha, Negan puts a knife against his crutch and forces him in a kind of pile of manure sort of thing. And then we get this really weird scene where she leads Negan into this empty part of the forest. Negan is like scared because he thinks, right, Alpha's going to kill him. She asks Negan to take all his clothes off, and then Negan talks about, we get this big monologue about what he was trying to do and how he was trying to make things better and how he was trying to be an effective leader. You know, he turns around and then he sees Alpha naked with her mask on, and basically saying, I think you're a crude man, you're a crass man, so you're due some sort of crass reward, right? And they started making out together, and the whole thing was weird. I don't know what the writers were thinking having this scene. You literally could have just had them in their normal clothes kissing, and then you just cut away, which leads to have sex. I don't know why she had to wear a mask, get naked, get Negan naked, kind of had sex in the middle of the forest. Anybody could have walked in and seen them. How funny that would have been if Beta had walked in and seen them. But I just don't know. The look on Negan's face was priceless, you know, and in many ways that elicited a reaction, I'm sure, for everybody viewing it. Like, what? Like, that's the last thing you could have expected, because it was out of the blue. Now, had Negan and Alpha kind of working together a bit more, and Alpha appreciating Negan's kind of sixth sense to see things that she couldn't, and had they built on that a bit more, okay, would have made more sense. But to just come out of it like that, like, we haven't seen Alpha shown any kind of sexual attraction towards anybody, right? So what was it about Negan that just made Alpha just want to have sex? It was just, you know, people would have laughed at it, people would have cringed at it, and people would have done both reactions about it, but it was just so out of left field. I just thought, what? Like, and the reaction on Negan's face, and it was just priceless to watch. And maybe I'm labouring on it too much now, but we'll see the fallout of that, and that kind of attraction I'm pretty sure Negan's going to use to his advantage, and exploit the Whisperers later on when Alpha lets her guard down. And we'll be interested to see how Beta senses the ongoing sexual attraction between the two, and how will he react towards it. Is he going to try and kill Negan later on? I do believe they do fight in the comics at some point during this Whisperer arc, so it will be interesting to see the fallout from that. But that was it, really. That was the main kind of coverage of this episode. Not an outstanding episode, but, you know, just a good action-packed, interesting episode. You know, a few moments edge of your seat, a few stupidity moments, as I mentioned before, what we get with the show, people just walking into peril and danger when they don't have to, and a truly kind of really just left field, just out of the blue connection between Negan and Alpha. But yeah, plenty to sort of chew on, if you like, for this season going forward. We'll see what happens. Next episode, we'll catch up later with the other communities. I'm sure later on we'll see what's going on with Michonne and the guy that she walked off with to try and gather more resources. We'll see later on what's happening with Eugene and this person that he's connected with over the radio as well. So just plenty of things to chew on and get you interested for this season going forward. So hopefully that'll be the last naked scenes we see of Negan and Alpha. I don't want to really see any more of that. And hopefully we get less stupidity from the characters going forward, but I'm sure we won't. And as I've said, I'm 95% sure that both Connie and Magda are still alive, and we'll see them later on, most likely being captured by the Whisperers. Who knows, they might do a Sasha reveal. If you remember with Sasha, how she was captured and later on she was turned into a zombie by Negan. I think it was season 7, midway through season 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. When you had a standoff between the groups and then Sasha comes out of that kind of coffin of being a zombie. Maybe that's what will happen to one or two of them. I think they'll keep Connie alive because they want to further this romance angle with Daryl. Again, Manga has I know she's got a relationship with one of the other characters. I can't remember her name, but there's been no depth to that relationship. So again, if we're going to see some character get killed off, I think Magda or Magma, apologies for getting the name wrong, might be one of those characters. But that's it for now. Really good episode, action packed, full of tension, and yeah, leaving plenty of promise to see what goes on in the next upcoming episode. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you like the kind of tense moments when they're in the cave? Were you like me? Did you frustrate you? The moments of stupidity shown? Did Carol frustrate you a lot? What she was doing? Were you cringed out as well by the whole Negan and Alpha scene? Are you interested for the rest of the remaining season going forward? So that's for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care for now, and I will